What is the greatest comeback you've ever heard? We were in a psych class senior year of high school, and the book mentioned something about orgasms. My friend tried to be funny and asked all innocently what's an orgasm with a crap-eating grin. Our teacher's response: if you don't know what it is by now, you'll never have to worry about it. I was in boot camp at Paris Island, SC from October 2009 to January 2010. I once heard a recruit start to ask a drill instructor, "Sir, what if, then, frick, Shalachi, what if my sister had a dong? Then she'd be my brother." Shut the frick up. I often wonder if people who become drill sergeants are naturally witty or if the job somehow hones them to this skill. Best one I've heard is a story my father told me. My aunt, his sister-in-law, was playing holier than thou and said, "Some of us waited until we were married. My dad, some of us had a choice. Some people choose virginity, and some people have it thrust upon them." Kinda childish, but in junior high a girl in my class asked me if I ever kissed a girl. I said yes, but some douche yelled out, "Your mom doesn't count." I promptly replied, "But yours does," and the class went nuts. I'm normally terrible at comebacks, so I felt like a motherfucking boss that day. I can almost hear a guy in the back of class going, "Frickin' got him. Be proud, son." Calvin Coolidge's response to a young woman who had made a bet that she could get him to say at least 3 words: "You lose." Finest comeback in history. Kid drops a glass in the dining hall at my university and it shatters to pieces. The whole place goes silent and everyone turns and looks at him. Without missing a beat he shouts Mazel Tov and throws his hands in the air. Applause and cheers from everyone. Not necessarily a comeback, but a great recovery. My friend Brian was in his homeroom class back in high school. The topic of abortion came up as everyone was asking each other if why they're either against or pro-abortion. We're in Texas, so you can assume the ideas and opinions of the majority of the class. So my friend is a very intelligent and quiet fellow, minding his own business in a corner of the room. The class turns to him to get his opinion on the matter. "Somehow, Brian, you've been quiet over there. So what about you? Are you pro-abortion?" Brian: "Well, I wouldn't say I'm pro, but I'm pretty good with a coat hanger." Jaws drop. The room is silent as everyone is registering what just happened. Glad I made it to school that day. Brian is a god. This arrogant little T I know said to my friend his dong was so big that he had to use 2 hands to masturbate. My friend replied with, "Yeah, one to maneuver the tweezers and the other to focus the microscope." Oh yes, he went there. TV license inspector: "Do you have a license?" Friend who answered, "Or, we don't have a TV. TVLI, but you have a satellite on the side of your house." Friend: "Yeah, I also have milk in the fridge, but it doesn't mean I have a cow in the garden." Closes door. Don't remember where I read it, but friend A is upset with friend B because friend B always spits in the urinal before commencing the peeing process. Friend A finds it pointless and unnecessary. Next time they're in the same urinal together, friend B does it again just to provoke friend A. Friend A goes, "What is it about seeing dongs that makes you salivate?" Yeah, I was pretty impressed with myself after that one. Wee Man had a great on in one of the Jackass films. Staged obviously. A guy comes up and says, "I'm her boyfriend." Wee Man says, "That's cool. I'm her man friend. I really want to be able to use that one someday." In the 8th grade I had some kind of a bad hair day. All the kids in my class was making fun of it for looking like sex hair. Norwegian saying, not sure if it translates. When my teacher walks in, I ask teacher, "Does it look like I have sex hair?" He looks at me and says, "You wish." Yeah, sex hair is a thing in English too. Sex ed had a female teacher learning about dongs and crap. Teacher: "This is a penis. This part here is." Jock kid raises his hand. Teacher: "Yes, jock kid. Jock, I can come up the front and give a demonstration to the class, if you'd like." Teacher: "I don't think so. We don't have access to the microscopes today." I was serving a couple at the supermarket I work at when the woman started complaining to me, bit in front of her partner, how annoying he is to go shopping with. His only reply: "Shut up, hairy legs." Lady Nancy Astor: "Winston, if you were my husband, I'd poison your tea." Churchill. Nancy, if I were your husband, I'd drink it. I also enjoy an exchange between George Bernard Shaw and Churchill. Sure, here are 2 tickets to opening night of my new play. Bring a friend, if you have one. Churchill. Cannot possibly attend first night, will attend second night, if there is one. Jimmy Carr vs Heckler. Something on the lines of this. Heckler, I fricked your mom. Jimmy Carr, excuse me, what? You fricked my mum. Mate, my mum's 80, but if that's your thing then go for it. Give her one for me. I was at school with a fellow named Zinzan. Anytime somebody insulted him, he would just go yeah, well you know what, I like your hair. It was impossible to take him seriously or genuinely insult him. Classic Zinzan. My friend's dad was explaining to his brother how to give their horses medicine. He had a syringe with some medicine and was telling him how to get the horse to swallow it. His brother said something about it probably being easier to give it rectally. His dad said yeah, we could just smear it on your dong. Snobby Oxford schoolmates out at a pub. My friend the only American among them. They play a game making of oxymorons. One guy shouts out American student and gets a bunch of laughs. My friend waits for quiet and says Englishman. These colors don't run. This jerk at work was talking crap to a virgin guy, so we got into it and I called him out saying I'd had more pee than he had. He said, I go for quality, not quantity. I said, the cold sore on your mouth says you're full of crap. Entire shop went nuts. I was on the tram. In front of me are 2 older women, like retired with purple hair older, and in front of them are 2 gay boys. Now the boys were somewhere in the 16-20 age group and in the annoying thralls of true love. Nothing offensive but so cute you needed floor and a brush. So one of the boys leans over and gives the other a peck on the lips. Totally innocent. I get worse from my 3-year-old nephew. Old woman 1 goes, look at that, those disgusting homos, rubbing their gay urges in everybody's face. But quick as a beat old woman 2 replies, for heaven's sake, Liz, we live in the 21st century, don't be such a homophobic see. I imagine the second old woman had a lisp considering the 21st. Teacher, there will be a test tomorrow. Idiot student, what if I'm too sexually exhausted to take a test tomorrow? Teacher, write with your left hand. Or take the test standing. A girl waiting in line in front of me had purposefully torn holes in her jeans, and a friend of mine hates that style with a passion. Not my favorite either, but this girl's weren't too bad, and he made some snide comments to me about them, loud enough for her to hear. Something unfunny about what's the point of buying jeans with holes already in them. And the girl turns about and says keep on getting pissy about every hole a girl has and the ones on her jeans will be the only holes you're gonna see. She turned around and I busted up laughing, and my buddy left the line. Once during vacation in Greece a guy said to a very slim girl, obviously very small breasted, that I liked. I considered her like my little sister you know, and he told her hey if you hadn't feet you wouldn't wear shoes right? She said yes and he replied so why are you wearing a bra? I instantly said very loud so why are you wearing underpants? Everyone laughed out loud and he shut his mouth. Easy but so good. Sorry for my English. I feel like there should be an English isn't my first language tag. Don't worry, you're doing pretty well. Back when I was a high school freshman there was one particular bully on the bus who would often ridicule me. One day the bus stops at a railroad crossing because the train is stopped about 100 feet away with its light on. I'm guessing there is some bus driver protocol that states not to cross the railroad tracks when the train's light is on even if the train is motionless. We sit there for a good 15 or 20 minutes and cars are going around the bus and honking, and finally the bully speaks up and yells at the bus driver, hey, why don't you pull a 360 and turn this bus around? Without thinking about my immediate safety I responded, because then we'd be going in the same direction. Dumbass. As soon as I said it I realized who I had said it to and turned to look at him. He was looking at me with a thoughtless, dumb expression as usual, and then after a few moments said, hey, yeah, you're right, instead of beating me senseless. The most unbelievable part of that story is that he agreed with you. Aussie comedian Rodney rude to a drunk heckler, nice hair mate, what are you gonna do when the ferret wants its sea back? Up to now I had never considered the comedic possibilities of animals other than humans having C. My god, it's full of C. B ruthlessly turns guy down. He starts crying. Then she really starts to tear into him using words like rapist. His friend interrupts her to say, maybe you should eat some of that makeup so you can be pretty on the inside. I'm not finding the video ATM, but it was pretty great. I was at the cinema one day and two black homie guys were hanging out the front drinking and hurling random abuse at people. This really camp gay guy walked in and they yell at him, nice shirt faggot. Without skipping a beat he goes, thanks sweetie, it's 100% cotton. Tell your granddad I said thanks. Similar story, but the guy was wearing flamboyant pink shorts. A hobo sitting on the side of the street with a box said, nice shorts, F. To which he replied, without skipping a beat, nice house, and kept walking. One of the cruelest things I've ever heard, but if you're going to be a jerk with no provocation, I guess it's open season. Whenever I'm enjoying a cigarette, people have the audacity to say, you know smoking is bad for you. To which I reply, my grandmother lived to be 102. Oh really? Smoking? No. Minding her own freaking business. Gabriel Iglesias. Helping girlfriend's mom out with the dishes. Dad walks in and asks, why are you such a pea? Before I could even react to what I was saying, my mouth formed the words, I am what I eat. So we both stopped and stared at each other and that alpha male lockdown. But really I was scared shitless that I just told her dad I enjoy to eat out his only daughter. Finally he cracks a smile and says, I like you. You sucker, grabs a beer from the fridge and walks out. My heart was hammering for a while after that one. Working as a waiter many years ago, when two obviously gay guys walk in the restaurant, I approach them and ask, would you prefer smoking or non-smoking, gentlemen? One guy responds, we prefer smoking, gentlemen, but we'll sit anywhere. Mad Men. Setting: Ginsberg and Don Draper in an elevator leaving work. Ginsberg dissing Don Draper, ending with, I feel sorry for you, Don, I don't even think about you at all. Okay, first off, a lion? Swimming in the ocean? Lions don't like water. If you placed it near a river or some sort of freshwater source, that makes sense. But you find yourself in the ocean. 20-foot waves. I'm assuming it's off the coast of South Africa. Going up against a full-grown 800-pound tuna with his 20 or 30 friends. You lose that battle. You lose that battle 9 times out of 10. Well, guess what? You've wandered into a school of tuna and we now have a taste of lion. We've talked to ourselves. We've communicated. And I said, you know what? Lion tastes good. Let's go get some more lion. We've developed a system to establish a beachhead and to aggressively hunt you and your family. And we will corner you and your pride, your children. We will construct a series of breathing apparatus with kelp. We will be able to track certain amounts of oxygen. It's not gonna be days at a time. An hour 45? No problem. That'll give us enough time to figure out where you live. Go back to the sea, get more oxygen, and then stalk you. You just lost in your own game. You're outdone and outmanned. Did that go the way you thought it was gonna go? Nope. The sound of your pee hitting the urinal, it sounds feminine. If we were in the wild, I would attack you. Even if you weren't in my food chain, I would go out of my way to attack you. If I were a lion and you were a tuna, I would swim out in the middle of the ocean and freaking eat you. A guy were trying to pick me up at a club, and he tried to tell me a joke, going, can you tattoo $100 bill on my dong? The punchline being, so I can watch you blow $100. Funny guy, I know. Well, he didn't get that far, because when he asked me, can you tattoo $100 bill on my dong, I said real quick I could, but on you it would look like a 10. He thought he was being real smooth and that I was into him even though I wasn't. So when I said that, he was completely stunned. I just walked away, super content with myself. What a terrible pickup line. Anybody else think that teacher was a bit of a B? I mean, it seems like a legitimate question for a young person with no knowledge of the subject to ask. Also, how would she know he will never have to worry about it? Has she seen his dong? My friend was arguing with another friend when he said, I'm gonna shove my dong 12 inches up your butt. I look up from my iPad and say, where you gonna get the extra 11 inches, mate? Did this really happen? Or did you think of the comeback like 10 minutes later, like everyone else? can't remember where I heard it, but someone said him and a friend were walking to a lesson one day when a passing teacher noticed he had his zipper undone and promptly said, "What's with the unzipped pants? Trolling for gays?" To which he replied, "Well, looks like I found one." Read it a few months ago. When my dad was in high school, he and his friends would drive by and yell crap at people they passed walking or biking on the street. One time they yelled at this one kid crap, and without missing a beat he responded with, "In your mouth." They were all completely shocked. In high school, some douche threw some water on a really dumb blonde. Her response: "I bet that's the only way you can make a girl wet." Probably the smartest thing she's ever said. It would have been better if she didn't gloat about how witty she was afterwards. If someone calls you a P, reply with, "Hey man, you are what you eat." Then if you wish, pause and say, "I guess that's why you're such a dong." It's funny cause being gay is bad. Another legendary British Prime Minister, Benjamin Disraeli, was told by a political opponent, "I have often wondered how your life will end, at the gallows or from a vile disease." Disraeli: "That, sir, will depend on whether I embrace your policies or your mistress." Nerdy kid is answering all of the questions in class. Dumb bimbo: "OMG, you're such a nerd." Teacher: "Hey, be nice. One day he could become your boss." Nerdy kid: "Highly unlikely. I don't plan on becoming a pimp." Found this scribbled in a college bathroom stall. It's a great back and forth. A. Your mother is sucking Robert Mugabe's dong in heck. B. I don't think there is a lot of dong sucking going on in heck. A. Well, considering how bad your mother sucks dong. This is a classic from childhood. I told my little sister that she was adopted. Without a blink she said, "At least they chose me." How do you respond to that? I'm so proud of her for that one. A counter comeback, but still applicable I think. Simplified scenario. Person A: you're in butthole. Person B: no, you're in butthole. Person A: if I wanted my own comeback, I'd wipe it off your mom's chin. Then they proceeded to kiss passionately. I've had a lot but only have a few that I really remember because they were referenced for a while. 1. I was outside after school one day and as usual there were a bunch of people hanging around. I jump over some small rail fence thing and as I landed this one chick decided to be smart and tell me I dropped something. Confused I look around and ask what? She immediately yells out, "Your balls." Everyone around starts laughing and the moment the laughter stopped I immediately replied with, "Really crap, they must have landed in your mouth right along with my dong." The amount of laughter was amazing and it felt great, lol. She was so angry that she didn't even respond. 2. I was at a McDonald's with some friends a while back and my sister's dance crew. My sister tells one of the guys that I'll eat anything with ketchup. Over exaggeration of course, but that's besides the point. So he looks at me with a big smile and says, "So if I put ketchup on this," points to his crotch, "you'll eat it?" I respond with, "Of course." At this point there's an awkward silence. I love P. Everyone just starts laughing hysterically including him. One person even fell on the floor, lol. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.